Hi, my name is Matt Caputo, and I am your child's math teacher. I'm sorry I can't be there tonight. As well as being a math teacher, I'm also the golf coach here at John Stark, as you may be aware. And right now we are at an away match, and we're probably going to get back probably exactly when the open house is ending. So I thought it was okay to make a video so you can see me, so you can see the classroom, and you can get a better idea of who I am rather than just, wasting the time. So like I said, my name is Matt Caputo. This is my second year here at John Stark. I taught for 3 years in Vermont, and we decided to move back closer to family. I love it here. I love the people I work with, and the kids have been great. Just a little bit about myself. I coach golf. One of my passions is definitely golf. I played a lot of music as well. But also something extremely important and exciting is that my wife is pregnant with our first child due in December. So that's definitely coming down the pike, and we're trying to get everything ready, and really excited about that. So this video is for whether you have me in Integrated 1 or Honors in Integrated 2. Obviously the topics are different, but a lot of the way that the course works is about the same. So let me get into that. So it really just comes down to how your students are learning mathematics. That's why they're here. That's what I'm passionate about. And as you can see around the room, even though I share this room with another teacher, a lot of your students' work is on the walls, because it's about what they can do, not what I can do. I'm really good at the math. I can do it quickly. I can make it look easy, but it's not about what I can do. It's about what your kids can do. And I support them in that. So behind me, or I guess above the screen, you'll see 3 posters on the wall. Those are the basis of what I'm teaching your kids to do. And you can see the last one next to the arrow is make sense. So the idea there is that, they're not just going through a little factory of getting answers and getting the correct answer and writing stuff down. That's all I care about. What we care about is how they can make sense of the math and how they can apply it in different ways. So the 2 ways you can see that happens with next to the arrow is generalizing and justifying. Those are the kind of things that you can transfer from math to other courses in real life in general. So the idea here is that they are justifying their answer, they're justifying different ideas that they're coming up with, and they're generalizing them. What's going to happen in all cases? Is this going to happen in every case? And we'll work together in class to figure that out. Research has been shown that is the way that students can gain greater access to the material and to the math. On the side wall over there, trying to figure out on the screen which side, probably to your left, are the posters that describe how they interact with each other. So you can see private reasoning time is on there. Whenever we ask a question or start a task, we always get a chance to think. And then I structure the talk in certain ways. Obviously, you're seeing how the desks are set up. Both me and Mr. Lyons share this classroom, and we both think that collaboration, group work is how students gain confidence in math and gain greater access. So that's just a little bit about how the learning works. So we'll do a task. I'll give them a rich problem that can be attacked in different ways. Next to the board is a little document camera, and that's a great way to share mathematical thinking. I use that all the time to get your kids thinking up and visible. And then after that, once we have gained big ideas, little ideas, whatever, your students actually have a notebook, and probably they've been provided by me. So that was on the John Stark's buck. You're welcome. And what they can use that for on certain assessments, like if a summative assessment or if a formative assessment is kind of like quick, just little skills things, they may not use the notebook. But if it's an application where they can apply the skills, why not just have the skills right in front? In the real world, they're able to use resources. So that's what I'm trying to teach them organization. So that would be done on the Promethean board. And I always print out the notes and put it on Google Classroom. So that leads me to Google Classroom. This is my first year using it, but I think I'm doing an okay job. Every night that there's homework, I put it in as an assignment. I don't want to have anyone get confused about that, because an assignment, you can click whether I've collected it or not. Don't worry about that on Google Classroom. Look on PowerSchool. PowerSchool is where you're going to see the grades. I'm going to keep track of homework on there. I'm going to keep track of formatives, obviously. So don't use Google Classroom as a way of seeing if your children have completed assignments or not. But it keeps a track of day by day what assignments I'm giving. Also, what I'm putting on Google Classroom are the slides that I'm doing in notes. So whether your child needs an extra copy, you can find it on Google Classroom, a way to save paper. Or if they miss a day, they can go on Google Classroom. And I feel like that's a good way just to say, oh, if your child missed a day, you can email me and I'll send you a link to whatever you need, or you can go look on Google Classroom. It really is a good tool to keep everyone in the same page if we do miss a day. So I went over Google Classroom, how the learning works. In terms of grading, because I guess that's why they're here for a little bit, so you can get a record of what they're doing. We are doing 90% formatives, 90% summatives, 10% formatives. So going through a unit, there are going to be little formatives, whether it's going to be homework or in class or a project or something like that. A formative is something that I can see where they're at. It's sort of like a dipstick to check your oil. I just need to see what's happening, and those grades are set. Those, whatever they do get, that goes into the 10%, and those are not reassessed. But for the summative, which every formative is tied to a summative, and in PowerSchool I'll always label learning target 1.1 next to the formative, so you can see that. Before they take the summative, I will not hand that to them until I have deemed them ready, or really them too, because it's like this self-reflection that they need to be able to learn as well. So let's say your student does not pass a formative, that grade cannot be retaken, but they will meet with me, we'll correct it, we'll do some other problems to get them ready, and then I will check them off essentially as saying, yes, you are ready for a summative. So the summative, what our goal is this year, is that a summative grade, since it's worth so much, that they are actually prepared for it. And it's not always just a written test. It could be more in-depth task where there's a different part of working together or working with me to try to make the math a little bit more meaningful. But either way, we will have a measure of whether they're ready or not. So if on Google Classroom it says summative next Thursday, that doesn't necessarily mean that they're taking it that day. It just means that's the first day that they're allowed to. So let's say they're not ready. Either they're missing a homework assignment, or they haven't done well enough in the formatives and they need more time. That's totally fine. 2 weeks is what we give them. 2 weeks to absolutely make a plan. If there is no plan, or if nothing has really happened, then two things might happen. One thing will just be, I'm like, okay, it's time. We need to take this summative. We need to at least put some sort of grade in there. The second option would be a 0, which would obviously hurt way more than, let's say, if they weren't necessarily all the way there, they get a 50, right? A 50 versus 0 is gonna be a huge difference. After that, they are allowed to reassess on the summatives. It's obviously a goal of mine to make sure every student passes. Last year I had 6 out of 80 kids not pass, and they were able to remediate in summer school. So the idea here is that whether or not they pass the learning target or not, there is a process for getting there. But what we're trying to do with this whole formative thing, and trying to make sure that they're actually ready for the summative, so we avoid that. We're being more proactive instead of reactive. And I hope all of that makes sense. I did print out copies of the syllabus for you, which have been left out. Also, you should have seen that already, whether you signed it or not. But just as another option, just to see what the idea is. So I think that's all I have for you. This video is about 9 minutes and 44 seconds, so the bell's about to ring probably. Last thing I want you to do is just to take a blank note card, fill out your name and your child's name, and one thing that they would not want to know, or they would not want their teacher to know about them. just sort of fun way so I can get to know them a little bit better. But thank you so much for coming tonight. Please email me. I will, now that golf season's basically over, I will meet with you anytime that you want, even if it isn't for parent-teacher conference night. If you want to set up something individual with me, that would be great. I'd be open to that. Thank you so much for coming again, and have a good night.